Hello, dear friends. As you draw closer to the Lord, He will guide you to become the best version of yourself. M. Russell Ballard. Opinion piece. Dangerous moment. High alert. Silent control. Slow but steady. Active red zones. Activation window. Emergency protocols. White Swan operation. Solar storm by surprise. Battle between good and evil. Let's start. We are living through the most dangerous and volatile moment in human history, and every step must be impeccable. The EBS activation window remains between May 20 and 27th, according to Ethan White of the case teller. But the final green light depends on achieving 100% mission safety. The arrest threshold must be reached, and it is estimated that 93% have already been captured. Border conflicts must be stabilized, and dark side sabotage teams must be neutralized. If necessary, the window can be pushed slightly, but the coalition will not rush to the final blow. When this window is activated, all media networks will be shut down. All communications will be routed through the quantum network. The truth will be broadcast to every device in the world, and public courts will be televised live after the initial blackout. It is true that the globalists are collapsing, but the machinery they built continues in its agony. The storm is not approaching. It is here, roaring over the earth, and we are the chosen generation to finish the fight our ancestors began. The free human spirit and the divine soul are being reborn in the fires of this final struggle. Be prepared, for the entire earth will feel the impact of the shock wave. Nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. Final phase. The final assault phase of White Swan operation is underway, but it's not yet over, according to Ethan White. Special forces are conducting non-stop kinetic operations against cartels, human trafficking networks, and dark side escape corridors around the world. The coalition has taken control of the battlefield, but the dark side remains in its death throes, and desperate sabotage attempts abound. The GSR program is progressing, but the circuit breaker is still protected. Protocols are being implemented methodically, carefully and strategically. The QFS has been quietly rolled out to 89 countries. Public theft forgiveness initiatives have already begun in pilot countries such as Iceland, Hungary, and some South American territories. But the media silence prevents public awareness. However, major central banks are being transformed behind closed doors, and the confiscation of gold from dark side vaults is nearing completion. Treasury operations backed by the QFS are already to be implemented after the announcement, stabilizing the system during the public exposure phase. Even so, security threats persist. According to Mr. Poole, the EBS will be activated without warning. Encrypted channels will override civilian transmissions, and the truth will flood every screen, every device, and every heart. This is not entertainment, it is revelation. The final chapters of human slavery and liberation will be revealed. Meanwhile, the global financial reset is being finalized behind the scenes. Gold-backed currencies have been mirrored in the notes of the QFS installment payment system. Sovereign debt instruments have been nullified through sovereign treaties. Hidden wealth and stolen assets have been confiscated for redistribution. Repayment centers are secured and synchronized. The transition is not yet here. It has already begun. Dark side loyalists are attempting last-minute cyber attacks and destabilizing markets. Cyber forces are intercepting and neutralizing this operation, but constant vigilance is required. Black hat hackers break into secure networks to destroy, modify, or steal data, or to destabilize them in an attempt to control and corrupt financial, political, military, religious, media, and social systems globally. Southern border. The US-Mexico border is an active war front. Several cartels are fighting each other after top leaders were extracted or neutralized by coalition operations. Underground tunnels, once used for human, drug, and arms trafficking, are being systematically collapsed by thermobaric charges. The coalition's special units have deployed actions against infiltration units crossing into Texas, Arizona, and California. Both areas are under a quasi-military lockdown. Civilian reports of loud explosions and strange lights at night are direct evidence of this ongoing fighting. This is not immigration control. It is large-scale asymmetric warfare. Red zones. While the arrests continue, the coalition remains on high alert. Active red zones in Europe are under constant surveillance in France, Germany, and Switzerland. In South America, dark side agents are attempting to establish clandestine strongholds in Argentina, Uruguay, and Bolivia. In Africa, biological and resource sabotage operations are being preemptively neutralized in the Congo and South Africa. Antarctica remains sealed. Classified operations there involve dismantling ancient hidden technologies and underground complexes previously accessible only to elite bloodlines. Space weapon systems under coalition control have been reactivated, ensuring that no off-planet evacuation or orbital retaliation capabilities remain for dark side survivors. Military tribunals are operating around the clock and secure locations around the world. High-level individuals are already in legal custody or on selective extraction lists. Guantanamo Bay's capacity has tripled, and offshore facilities are processing new detainees daily. The EBS emergency broadcast system is armed and ready. Coalition communication engineers are conducting final override drills to ensure full global coverage once the system is activated. Surprise storm. This was not anticipated. An unexpected G2 geomagnetic storm occurred during the early morning hours of May 17th, triggered by the indirect impact of a solar mass ejection launched on May 12th by an erupting magnetic filament in the Sun's northern hemisphere. The ejection was wider than predicted by models, and some of the debris impacted Earth after a 4-day journey from the Sun. According to Ethan White, President Trump has just activated emergency protocols for the solar storms that are shaking the planet. Italy is on the brink of a disaster that could paralyze Europe. The flaring Fields supervolcano, a monster hidden beneath the surface near Naples, is shaking violently. A magnitude 4.4 earthquake has already shaken the area, followed by continuous tremors, prompting the declaration of a state of emergency. But this is only the beginning, because while the Earth trembles below, the Sun is waging war from above. Since May 13, 2025, the Sun has experienced multiple high-level solar flares impacting the Earth's magnetic shield. These flares aren't just pretty lights in the sky. They carry proton radiation capable of destabilizing geological faults, triggering earthquakes, and detonating the Phlegraean fields. President Trump is working with scientists like Giuseppe De Natale, a prominent geophysicist who discovered a nearly 100% statistical correlation between solar proton events and major earthquakes. We are talking about almost absolute certainty. These eruptions not only coincide with earthquakes, but also cause them, and the Phlegraean fields are in full swing. This isn't just a random geological alarm. It is backed up by 20 years of satellite data from NASA's SOHO mission outside the Earth's magnetosphere, which tracks how solar proton density relates to seismic surges. The next flare could be the final push. Silent control. According to Media Greer, the Republic is under silent control. A continuity protocol known as COG, Continuity of Government, has been enacted. This is a set of federal protocols drafted during the Cold War and expanded after 9/11, designed to ensure basic government functions in the event of a national catastrophe. This protocol can be activated without a public declaration when information superiority is paramount. It includes the legal transfer of power to undisclosed military or civilian authorities, the evacuation of critical personnel to secret location, the suspension of constitutional norms including judicial jurisdiction, and the activation of communication networks. Rescue. President Trump launched a $4,000 deduction for seniors. For millions of retirees struggling with inflation, housing insecurity, and unstable Medicare coverage, it sounded like a long-awaited bailout. This isn't a direct check, but a targeted tax deduction, offering seniors the ability to reduce their taxable income by up to $4,000 during key tax years. Subtract that amount from your reported income, which reduces your tax bill. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.